house. Everyone, why don't you clean up your house?
WEFM is SVG.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
We are now in that segment where we continue with our political conversation series. And this morning we have joining us in studio Mr. Phillip Jackson, NDP's candidate for Mariaqua. Mr. Jackson, good morning to you and welcome back.
As you say, let's have a conversation mainly about Mariaqua and its development, and how to build a partnership for a powerful Mariaqua.
Right. You're one of the first persons who didn't know me beforehand who got my name correct. So hats off to you. Starting off on a lovely footing.
Maybe I can read well.
Let's anyway, let's go ahead. All right. So who is Phillip Jackson?
Well, Dianna said welcome back to the studio. That's because prior we just had a little chit chat before, and I actually used to be here as a guest co-host with Cecil Ryan and the others long time ago. So Cecil, I'm still open for an invite. But Phillip Jackson is that guy from Mespo who loves his constituency, who loves his community very much. And for a very long time, I've been thinking of ways of making Mariaqua better. Mm-hmm. And I'm fully committed this task of building a partnership for a powerful Mariaqua. So when I was 14 years, right, Roleza? When I was 14, I won National Science Fair. And the project that won was about how to integrate forestry management, water management, using it for renewable energy, hydroelectric power, and recycling the rest for irrigation in agriculture. At the time, the guy said this project was way ahead of its time. That was in 1990, right? So I say that to say, since me a little boy, I'm thinking deeply about the development and how to build sustainable models for development, not only at the community level, but at the national and regional level. So I'm 50 years old. I just turned 50. Yeah. So I'm very young.
Congrats to you.
I'm very young. And let's say professionally, I have a very diverse background. I started out as a biologist. So when you're playing a song a while ago about conservation and so on, yeah, the 1990s in St. Vincent, maybe you guys are a little too young to know that. But the 1990s was declared as the decade of the environment by the United Nations. And that was a big thing in St. Vincent. I mean, everybody was like really digging in on keeping the environment, protecting the environment, establishing clubs all over St. Vincent for that. So I'm very happy to, that song reminded me that there was a time when we actually did a very, very deep focus on the environment. So I was a biologist, so conservation, ecosystems, that sort of stuff. As a matter of fact, I did my thesis in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on a topic in St. Vincent and the Grenadines at a time when my professors in Cuba, and this I'm talking, I went to study in Cuba under the New Democratic Party on scholarship. You'll hear a bit more about that. So scholarships were around a very long time ago, like schools and hundreds of scholarships. Yeah, so I chose to do my research here when my professors in Cuba were like competing to get me to do something in Cuba, on Cuba. I said, no, listen to me. St. Vincent is a place that is understudied, and we need to put our best minds to studying St. Vincent and Grenadines things. So back then I did a study on how to use information for precisely education on the environment and conservation and so on. I dug up a lot of stuff, and St. Vincent Grenadine has some very interesting ecosystems that's necessary for us to preserve, not for its own sake, but its connection to things like agro, eco, nature, tourism, and so on. So then I taught for a while. I was a teacher, so yeah, maybe I put on my teacher cap today. I taught biology at the St. Vincent Grammar School. I taught in IT. I taught general science. I was the head of the science department there for a while. Then I realized, hey, the next big thing has to be innovation, because I'm always scanning the horizon to see what's next, because I'm big on development. And I realized innovation studies is critical to St. Vincent Grenadines. So I went and did a master's in innovation management at Manchester Business School, one of the top schools in the world for innovation. And I came back. While doing that, I was the science. So I left grammar school. Sad. I love teaching, I love teaching, but I felt there was something else. So I joined central government as a science and technology coordinator for the government. So that's my substantial role as of today. That was from about 2006, so almost 20 years doing this. And then after a while, I say, boy, the next big thing is digitalization. I tell them always looking for opportunities, scanning the globe, see where it's heading and how it relates to development of small island states like St. Vincent and Grenadines. So then I said, it's time to do further studies in digitalization. And that's when I went to UWI to start my PhD in digitalization, digital economy, and small states development. So that's on the professional side. So I've worked in government, I've worked regionally at the Caribbean Export Development Agency in the area of technology adoption, digitalization of business, and so on for 15 CARIFORUM countries. I've also worked as a consultant with the Caribbean Development Bank and also the Inter-American Development Bank on technology adoption and so on. So if someone were to place me in terms of my professional competence, it has to do with that entire gamut of conservation, sustainable development, technology adoption, digitalization. So that's why I brag. Sometimes I'm a modest guy, but sometimes I brag to say, hey, if you want somebody to lead in the 21st century in a government on science, technology, and innovation, Phillip Jackson is your guy. And if Dr. Thompson calls in today, he'll tell you that.
Well, okay.
Right.
So in the way in which you would, when you deliver, you saying the next thing. So now you're at a stage where the next thing is enter into politics. Why politics, given that you have made a contribution in different areas of national development? Why politics?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've wrestled with this question for a while. Actually, I've had deep discussions with my colleagues. And I'm saying, guys, politics, I don't think politics is the only route to development in small island states. Why can't we do other stuff? And we've been back and forth with that. And I've been back and forth in my mind. But I realize in very small states, politics is almost everything, like, especially in St. Vincent and Grenadines. And it's like politics control almost everything. So the hands of politics gets very deep in people's personal lives. And I said, boy, I came to the conclusion, you only evoke a transformation, you have to use political power. And then, having gained political power, you can now empower the sort of people-to-people, community-based systems that you need to put back power into the hands of the people at the base of the community. And get rid once and for all of this primacy. Yeah, that politics.
So you're entering the system to change this.
Yeah, realizing states in Vincent Grenadines, political power is very powerful to evoke and to precipitate the social change that you need at the level of the community, which has been lost for a long, long time. So I'm hopeful at the end of my tenure in politics, because I'm going to win America, right? So that's, in my mind, that's a foregone conclusion. But I'm hoping by the time I leave Morocco, Morocco would have the most powerful youth groups, the most powerful community groups, the most powerful environmental groups, people to people coming together on their own terms, right? Responding to their own needs as they perceive them and working together with government and other networks of individuals around the world to transform their lives and sustain a better living for them. I don't want, when I'm in politics, everything is about me. The represent. I want everything to be about the people. That's why I'm calling for a partnership between people and politicians for a powerful America.
Okay, well, I would like you to tell me how you plan to engage in a fair and transparent partnership with the community of America. But I think before we get to that, you were just listing some of the things that Mariaca will have at the end of your tenure. Have you started anything with the community as yet in any of those areas?
Yeah, sure. So in sports, right? And sometimes I'm very good at being a background guy. You know, the guy at the end, looking at the systems and contributing there. So, for example, sports in America, most people don't know because background guy. So there's the Valley Sports Committee that was integral in helping that setting that up and channeling the ideas and so on. That still operates today. You know, they still have netball competitions and so on. Still not as big as it could be. Yeah. I also experimenting with there are lots of students, right? They come from homes where the parents are not fully equipped to give them the sort of assistance they need to make the best of, the educational opportunities. And the classroom sometimes pay more attention to the top students and leave out the others. Not every classroom, but from my long years of experience, and there's nobody really to hold these students after school to say, listen, let me help you focus a bit. I know you don't get that attention at home or any network. So I've started a homework club where on afternoons I bring the students together, help them with their schoolwork, ask volunteers to help. Because I think it's really, really critical. And so much so I've made that a central part of my pillars for Marico. Homework club, establishing homework club all over, but it's based on volunteerism. So you're a college student, you want to give 2 hours a week on 2 days, one hour each day to help some students finish their assignments. And so we would identify places where you can meet, help the student. And then the mentorship club, mentorship program, because I realize there's a lot of students who need, maybe in high school and college, who need that sort of interaction with professionals, could help to guide them about career choices, etc. Or just being there like a big brother, big sister to help them navigate the challenges that they may encounter. Because educational attainment sometimes not just simply about academics. There are other social issues that need to be addressed to help a student achieve more. So that's some of the things. And I operate like a informal hiking club because I would pack up most of the children in my vehicle. I hope the police doesn't bother much with this in terms of me overloading my vehicle, right? But I would take them hiking and I would explain to them the flora and the fauna, the rock formation and why it's important to hike the rivers, explain going on this side who are paying strict attention to the problem solving in it. Okay, that's how we build understanding them, problem solving, so that when they put their ideas together, their knowledge together, they can, transform their immediate circumstances, and then they spread that out to the community and the country and so on and so forth. So those are some of the things I do regularly, because I believe in the power of people combined with knowledge and guidance to transform. So
And how long have you been doing these activities? From
forever, I think. Like since I was a teenager, I always had groups around me doing this sort of stuff. So it comes naturally.
Okay. So it's not a case of you just doing it
Oh,
because
for politics?
you
No.
just need to get that out the way.
If you go on my Facebook page, I've been doing this thing forever. The kids call me Uncle Phillip, and then the parents call me Uncle Phillip.
Okay.
And I'm very humbled by that. It's not easily somebody you get people, the whole village calling you Uncle Phillip, right? It must mean something.
Okay.
But you know what? I wanted to ask you guys a question,
Go ahead. What it's unusual that we get thrown back questions, but go ahead.
No, that's fine. No, but I was just curious about why radio? How you got into radio and it's like, is it just like that's something you always loved?
Okay,
Because I'm gonna make a point about it afterwards.
Oh, because I was gonna say we could probably leave that for the end because we have limited time.
No problem.
All right.
Yeah.
You want to hear it now or we can wait till
I
after?
want to hear. I'm interested in young people. I'm having a conversation with young people.
All right. Another young enough, just a few years behind you. But anyhow.
I am young, so if you're behind me, you're young.
For me, it was just transitioning from one thing to another and doing something that you actually love.
Right.
I didn't even think that I would love it as much as I did when I first started, but I realized that I get a lot out of it and I get to learn a lot from people and about people as well. I'm a creative. I love being of service. So being here on the radio, to me, I'm combining those things and I love that.
Great.
All right. For me, this is not quite my first radio experience. I did a part-time stint at another radio station before, but I love broadcasting, right? I love the fact that radio announcers, radio personalities, however you term them now, that we keep people's company, right? There are things that we can learn from each other. And I just like being interactive in that sense. So
No. I mean, the power of the word is very transformational. So I want you guys to just take what you do very seriously, because a lot of people listen. When I go around in the constituency, a lot listen radio more than they go on Facebook. But it's good that you're also streaming. And I want to commend you for this and your ideas, because their broadcast can change lives. So I want to wish you all the best. Take it very seriously. And this, you whatever you say every day can change life. And I use my economy. Basically, the new economy is about how do you use to create wealth, but at the same time, how do you use science, technology, and innovation to make what you currently do better, right? And one of the proposals we have, and you would love this as a creative, is what we call innovation hubs. So these are places in the community where you go and we have computers with the latest programs, whether for digital media, producing music, animation, etc. And our proposal, they will open 24/7 with full security. You know why 24/7? As a creative, sometimes you get a brainwave. Brainwaves don't have a schedule. It's like, no. Then you can hang out with your crew and say, hey, we have an idea here we want to prototype at the Innovation Hub. Let's go and let's have a session. Could last hours. But we will be providing you with the tools on the powerful computers, powerful program to do that. Animation. And I want to give you a challenge, Dianna. And Roleza, I want you to cooperate with her. I want to see within the first year of an NDP government, through our Innovation Hub, an animation series about young Chateaubriand. Start writing the script. And those of you listening to me online and start studying Chateaubriand, the animation and a young Chateaubriand. And we want to go further. George McIntosh, Ebenezer Theodore Joshua, all of our greats. We want to, in other words, our Vincentians, our children and adults must be consuming more content on our history and our legacy, so that we have a deep sense of place and Vincentianness, from which would create a very fertile space for us to really engage with development at our community level and our country level. And we have to be able to tell our own stories in these meetings. So we're big on creative and creating the space through the new economy for creatives to do stuff they love, but also from a patriotic standpoint. Let's tell our own stories to the world. So there's an opportunity there.
All right. So another question to you. So you mentioned that you have a BSc in biological sciences and MSc in innovation management and entrepreneurship, and you started pursuing your PhD.
Correct.
How do you plan to utilize this knowledge for the development of your constituency and the nation as a whole? Give us some specific areas, maybe like 3 specific.
Yeah. Off the bat, there is that they're small, but they can be global through e-commerce and online presence. Right now, the online presence of businesses in is very poor. Their customers almost non-existent quite easily. So I will take not just my knowledge, my deep experience while working at Caribbean Export Development Agency. Like I said, I manage many programs that dealt exactly with e-commerce adoption and online presence. So I'm going to bring that deep experience to small businesses and larger businesses in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And that's one of the 5 pillars of the Youth Guarantee Pledge that Dr. Friday made to the youths of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, making sure that e-commerce and online presence of businesses is a guaranteed stuff that we would do. And we have, not only myself, but Dr. Charlotte together with myself, we have deep experience in doing this. So that's one area. I also mentioned that technology adoption, but technology can help them to do what they do better and more efficiently. When you produce things more efficiently, you gain greater profits. Your business doing well, you create wealth, right? I have worked together with the Inter-American Development Bank to produce what is called a program for technology extension services. And this is how it's going to happen. Dianna, you have a small business. We will make sure professionals come to your business, look at what you're doing, map out your entire system, your processes, and say, hey, this sort of technology can help here. This type of technology can help here. And then they do what they call an audit of your entire system and develop a technology adoption plan. And with that technology adoption plan, you now take it and you go to the National Development Bank that Dr. Friday promised that the NDP will establish. And you take your well-developed plan where the professionals help you, and then you say, hey, this is the investment cost, and I want a low interest, 1%, 2%, 3% loan to put that investment. But we're not stopping there, Then the monitoring and evaluation is important to make sure that your plan that we help you to invest in is working. So we will deploy the professionals necessary to help you along the entire entrepreneurship business cycle. Whether you're just starting out your idea or you just want to expand and accelerate wherever you are. But we will do the sort of assessment necessary, help you to develop the plan, and help you with the financing. So that's 2, all right? Third thing, we mentioned scholarships. And let me tell Vincentians once and for all, hundreds of Vincentians were going on scholarships.
Was it a case, okay, with that conversation though, is it a case where it's being said that scholarships started in 2001 or it expanded after 2001.
Well, there's something called rhetoric, right? Yeah.
So it's just to correct it.
Rhetoric and narrative. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm telling you that many of the top professionals in St. Vincent right now in almost any field studied through scholarships under the NDP. And just as an aside, before I tell you the total thing, the head of the pool, Carl James, I heard him this morning. Right? My cook buddy, we studied in Cuba. We in the same room in Cuba. We hung out. He studied with me in 1998 in Cuba. NDP, NDP, product of NDP's education policies. And I could name a few. Every time you drive here, you pass the Bureau of Standards, right? The head of the Bureau of Standards, Mr. Ezra Ledger, NDP scholarship.
All right, so both parties could claim success with
yes,
regards, right?
I'm telling the country right now. And so moving on from that, when I was doing my research, I told you I chose to do my research in St. Vincent, but it was a little frustrating to get this sort of material and the research look. I decided, you know what? We need to bring together under the rubric of an indigenous research fund. And I've proposed this to the ULP government for years. Oh, it's a good idea, and they never did it. So first year, the NDP, with my leadership, we're going to establish what is called an indigenous research fund. What is this going to do? It's going to maximize the benefit of all the scholarships to create knowledge of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to drive decisions on development. So you are a student studying, we would identify through proper analysis what are the priority areas that need studying. And we would match students with these priority areas and have the professors of those universities come. I'm sure they'd be glad to come to St. Vincent for 6 months, while doing some work with the student and enjoying also a beautiful island. The Indigenous Research Fund would be a game changer, because what it's going to do is going to use our brilliant young minds on scholarship, focus them on national development issues that we have prioritized, and give them the funding to do your thesis and research here on a Vincentian question, on a Vincentian challenge, so that as an NDP government, our development policies will be driven by knowledge, information, and data. Game changer. So those are three things immediately comes to mind.
Okay.
You speak of this, or I heard something where you were speaking on your agricultural plan for Mariaqua. Can you explain that plan, please?
Yeah, you're my kind of girl. Roleza, don't get jealous, eh?
Well, I had a question though, but go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you for this. First, agriculture can create wealth. Let's get that right. Agriculture is not something old men and aging men do. Agriculture can create wealth. For the NDP, agriculture is seen as a business, as an investment. However, to do agriculture right, my background in biology, so I understand deeply how ecosystems work. So here we go. Roleza, you want to become rich in agriculture, but you don't have no lands. You don't have no problem under NDP, We would establish a land bank. Those folks who have lands but have no immediate use for them, they would invest their lands into the land bank, all managed by land management information system and so on. You come, you say, I would like to have 5 acres of land, Roleza. Okay, you have the land now from the land bank, the NDP's project. But you say, boy, I wonder where I should plant. No, don't worry again, Roleza. There'll be trained individuals in the Ministry of Agriculture who will sit down with you and say, here are your options. Here are your options. And then you would choose. And when you choose which commodity you want to get into a livestock, we'd help you to develop what you call a production plan. A production plan. Also, we make sure there manuals. You could pick up a manual for the production, tell it to everything you need to know right there, because knowledge is important, right? So you have your plan well developed, you have your land, but you say, oh shucks, boy, me, I have no money. You have no problem again. You would go to our National Development Bank with your well development plan that the officers in the ministry help with, and you say, this is it, this is the investment needed. And you go and you start to plant and so. And then we'll make sure that you have the sort of inputs necessary to take your production to its best. And the same officers or others would make sure they help you with the agronomic practices. That is what you actually need to do on farm to have the best produce possible. All in the market. Finished now. 9 months later, you're ready to reap. You have no problems. You would take your produce to the nearest marketing depot that we would establish as part of a national marketing system. And you just go and you sell. You go get your money. And guess where you're heading, Roleza, after that? Straight back to your farm for the next cycle of production. You don't have to be a boss in your brain about how to sell the thing, you know.
But you're selling it so easy, like everything will go that easy.
It will go.
What are some of the challenges that you predict for this, though?
I didn't finish it.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Let me tell you now. So we also use technology. I'm telling you, we're big on technology. The NDP is the only party that understands technology and innovation and development at the depth that is required in a 21st century. That's a fact. So we have the market information system. So Roleza is producing, but you are an exporter. Are you buying stuff too? Because we're not going to say everything should be exported to the marketing board. We're free market. If you find that you have a market outside, fine. But here what? Roleza goes on to the market information app. She signs up with a farmer ID and so on. It will geolocate a farm and she puts exactly what she's planting. And you know, Dianna, you're a buyer. You would go on and you register as a buyer, or, you know, so you can see each other. It's called a two-sided market. You can see who is producing what, and the producers can see who is buying what, and they indicate prices. You know why it's important to indicate price? So everybody has the same knowledge. It's called breaking down the information asymmetry. Market works better when the prices are clear. Right now, some people tell you, oh, Dashin is disappointing, and somebody tell you, everybody confused. But with the market information, says everybody will know what's happening. But more than that, Roleza, if you're planting today, Dashin, the app knows that 9 months Dashin is being produced. They know that they know the production per acreage. So even before 9 months ahead, you can predict how much Dashin is coming online in the market. No, that's, you know, that people who are buying and so on can have what they call a futures. They can predict what's coming down the road, and they can start, Dianna can start bidding on your Dashin long before they come out the ground, tie you up, and we would help you with smart contracts as part of the system to say you want transfer with prices into the future challenges. But guess what? We would stick, because we understand innovation, and part of innovation is what you call iteration. You get feedback, you understand the system at a point, and then you go back again, iterate until it gets better and better and better. But the important thing is that you're opening up the channels for all information to flow to make better decisions. And will it work? Absolutely, it will work. Why? We have tested and tried professionals who've been doing this thing, who understand this, probably should go educated, probably to make it a big wealth creator. And I want young people in Form 4, Form 5 college, you're doing agriculture. You can be the next millionaire through agriculture, but only on the NDP government.
Thought I've heard that coming from somebody else too, but
who said that?
The next millionaire part is what I'm focusing
on.
Oh,
that one.
Yeah. But with regards to this entire conversation, is there going to be a technology revolution? Because you're speaking about farmers logging on and they're registering the information, etc. We already have a situation here in SVG where some persons don't even want to engage in online banking, right? So when we have farmers, and not to say that farmers are not a lot of the farmers are not inclined to technology, but we do recognize that there is going to be that bit of challenge. Who is going to be the one to either educate them, or are you going to look to have a change within the school system so that as Vincentians, especially those coming up, we have an understanding and appreciation of what technology is and where it can take us?
Brilliant question. We have to spend a lot of time outside.
Now we got to come back, and we have more questions for you.
Yeah, because hear this one here now. Farming is a family business. The students, the children would help their parents if they can with the technology side of
But
things.
suppose the farmer doesn't recognize the importance of
Well,
it. How
we
are you
would
going
show
to
him.
change mindsets with regards to
Let
that?
me tell you, because we said to him, if there's more money to be made if you get on board, you have to give them an incentive, right? And you mentioned the school part, right? Something I've written about. I've said, for people doing IT, the SB is that the IT students should respond directly to our development challenges. And so I've proposed, let IT students, as for the SB, go and find a cohort of older folks in the community and teach them how to become digitally literate. That should be an accepted SB. I will say to CX, listen, SBAs must respond to our development challenges, and ICT is a big part of our development. So we want our students to get involved in the community, teacher community, including farmers, about technology. So yes, you're quite correct, and you anticipated something I've written about long ago, but what we would integrate in our whole technology approach.
All right. So we try to make this an interactive program,
Yes.
although we're pressed for time. So we are going to open the phone lines now. The number to call is 457-9997 if you wish to pose a question to Mr. Jackson. All right. But Dianna, if you have another question, you could go ahead and answer.
With that agricultural plan, is the focus on production for, I guess, consumption? Would it be more local, regional, or international?
Yeah, well, listen, we need to be making more money from foreign exchange. We need to be exporting more right now. The local market is just too small to really drive a transformation in agriculture.
And have you identified markets, by the way?
Yeah, we're working on those.
Okay.
We're working on those. And to the professionals in the marketing corporation, or whatever name it would take, their job with I'm going to say 24/7, but you know what I mean. That's it. That's what they do every day. Find the markets, get the logistics work
So we
out.
have to take a
Yeah,
thing. We have a call, and we'll
sure.
take the call and come back to that.
All right. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Roleza.
Good morning.
And good morning to Mr. Jackson.
All right. We're hearing a bit of a feedback from you. Is your radio off?
Oh, sorry.
All right. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Mr. Jackson, you have any plan to renovate that road that leading from Yambu, going across by the police station, that narrow strip of land, that narrow strip of road that goes across there, to renovate? You have any plans in renovating that area?
Well, absolutely. So one component of agriculture is the feeder roads. You have to get from farm to market. And if the roads are bad, it's going to cost you more in vehicle repair. But we would have a very forensic approach to road development. So yes, infrastructure is important. That's a high priority. NDP was called the party of, they call it Guti tracks. But you know, those Guti tracks open up lands for house production, house building, and so on, and transformation approach, and so we continue the same thing.
I'm not sure they were. Anyways, so we were speaking about local, regional, or international production before.
Markets.
Right. So
Yeah.
first we have to satisfy, obviously, we have to satisfy the local needs. Sure that we're producing food that really helps to build healthy lives. regional markets, we satisfy that too, but there are international markets possible. And I want to put here now, banana coming back again. Let me tell you why. Banana is the #1 fruit in the world. A recent study I read shows that taste is the most important factor in determining what people buy. Vincentian banana, best tasting banana in the world. So we have ready market, best tasting banana. We could produce as much as we want. We have to get back in banana.
And the price going to drop. Morning, Queens.
I had a dream last week that the four seats that came in for NDP, and yours and Shallow were 2 of them.
Well, I'm claiming that.
You know, sometimes, a lot of times your dream don't go 100%, but it goes somewhere in that, something similar in there. So that might be the first 4 seat that to be declared. It might be the last 4 seats to be declared, and it might be either party getting all 4. That was how close.
Full Maracua with Phillip Jackson at the head. So dream on, Maracua, vision on, we can do this thing together. So good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
My question is, politicians, do they, you get pre-leave? Do you get pre-leave to campaign for the election?
No,
Because,
I'm currently on no pay leave. And nobody really knew
Right.
exactly what is supposed to have been done. I called the government official and say, no, you have to go on no pay leave. So I'm actually on no pay leave to campaign. Yeah, I'm getting no income for 2 months.
I remember time Julian Francis listening to Nice Radio. He was talking on the radio, on the Nice Radio program. And he said he called the bank manager to ask if he's at work. So in other words, he shouldn't be on the radio at this time if he's supposed to be on his job. So that led me to ask that question.
Yeah, so I'm currently on no
That
pay
was
leave
good,
for
Dave.
2
Bye-bye.
months. Yeah, thank you.
All right, bye.
All right, Queens. All right, so you've taken that so that you can do your campaign in.
Yeah, because this thing is serious business. You know?
Well, true, fair enough. All right.
I'm not waiting on them to dictate how I campaign.
Okay. So the phone lines are open. We have just a few more minutes left, but I have another question to pose to Mr. Jackson while we wait for other persons to call. You recently went viral with a video speaking about there being only 7% of students in grade 2 and grade 4 having mastery in literacy. Where did you get your stats?
It's right there in the 2023 National Assessment Report. So the government does national assessment at grade 2 and 4. And then you could consider CPA as a third one, right? Which is supposed to inform how they intervene to help students. And that's where it is. But you know the worst thing? The results in grade 4 are worse than the results in grade 2. Could you imagine? After doing that assessment, these same students go to grade 4, that they improve, it got worse. So all this big
So you're
talk
saying that
about,
this is from stats from 2023?
yeah, the National Assessment Report is right there.
Okay, all right.
But
I just didn't know, I
mathematics-
didn't know where it came from. So,
In mathematics, you want to know? 2%. 2% is less than 2% is at mastery level. It means so every 100 students assessed on mathematics, 98 of them is performing below mastery.
okay. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On that same topic of education and literacy, in returning to St. Vincent and volunteering in the school, you could see it is so clear in our eyes that I think that some teachers are not trained how to teach literacy, especially those who struggle, those students who are struggling. How does the NDP plan to fix this problem?
Yeah, it's a great question. So first of all, I think very early you should assess students or learning abilities or disabilities. Assess them. Parents have to take their own private money, $800 plus to take the child to go on assessments. No, we should be doing that earlier. And then after identifying the problem, making sure that the teaching style responds to the learning styles of the students. But more than that, we have to set at the very high level the vision. The vision for the NEP is that by grade 6, all of our students should at least be reading at the minimum level they're supposed to. That's the vision. So that's high level vision. Then the Minister of Education will tell the Chief Education Officer, this is the vision, and she will then take this to classroom teachers. This is what we want in SVG for our students. And we have to monitor that. We have to make sure that the teachers are capable of doing it, but we have to hold them accountable also to make sure it's done. And then, like I said, we would use peer-to-peer teaching. Those good students can help it. We have to learn to build teamwork, and then we use the homework clubs and the mentoring. In other words, rescuing education in St. Vincent Grenade is a number one priority of the school and community partnership for education to make this thing happen. And we have to set high standards for ourselves, big vision, and make sure everybody understands it and hold everyone along the whole chain accountable. And I'm very serious about this, very passionate about this, because I see the results. Right now, the so-called education revolution is manufacturing delinquency, which is affecting issues of crime and so on. It's a serious situation. We need to hold our society and say, listen, we are not as good as they say we are, We need to fix this thing, and we need all hands on deck, but we have to first start with the truth about where we are. Not rhetoric, not narratives.
All right.
Truth.
All right. Caller, was your question fully
that's true.
answered? Okay. All right.
No, in addition to that, we have students who get to grade 6 and they can't write.
Yes.
I mean, because reading and writing are connecting.
Correct.
And therefore, another thing that we don't have is the classroom. It's missing.
Yeah, we don't look like we care about literacy here when you look at the infrastructure.
I mean, let me just step in here. We do have some libraries. I'm not sure. I know a lot, if not most of the primary schools, if they don't have a classroom library, the teachers, because maybe they don't have the space or a cupboard, they do have books in their cupboard or a section in their cupboard for a library. And schools do have a library as well, but it's, it's more than just having the library.
No, the society must feel that reading is a big thing. The society must know when they see the infrastructure, reading is a big thing. The library investment next to the politicians decades. That and it was conceived in the library expo.
All right, Paula, I don't want. Okay, could you probably ask your final question, make your final point?
Yeah, my final question is, how are we going to organize around community? In terms of the illiteracy in our country, we have all of these, mostly every community have a community center, but they're not in use. How are we going to make it work?
Yeah, so
all right, thank you for calling. Okay, so you would listen off air.
Thank you very much.
So at the high level, we have to declare war on illiteracy. We have to say this is a number one national priority if we want to build a powerful Moroccan St. Vincent Grenade, and we assess all the resources that we have, both physical infrastructure, but more importantly, the will of the people to volunteer in a big vision for St. Vincent Grenadines. This is what the NDP is calling Vincentian too. Let's join hands and hearts and heads together to take responsibility for our villages, our communities, our nation, and let's work together to make it happen. Let's not hide the truth. Let's expose ourselves to what is really happening and call people together to transform it. That's what we're bringing.
All right, so let's take this final call and then we wrap up. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hey, good government or something like that.
I'm 50 years old.
Oh, so you went to school under James Mitchell government?
Yes. I started school in...
Well,
I know even before that, I started school in 1980. That's before James Mitchell.
Right. So you But you should admit right now, if you really fair to education, that education move from limbs to bong, and it is government.
Move from what?
And you have more people out there literacy and all this kind of thing, and people more sensible, people could read more and all kind of thing like that. Even said you see.
What's the point you're making that after 25 years, what? Listen to me. After 25 years, we are nowhere near where we're supposed to be. And this government is asking for another 5 years to do what? No, it's time to, not continue anything. Fully more than half of the students cannot pass 5 subjects at the end of so many years in school. That's the reality. Less than 30% pass in maths. Young man, we have a problem. We need to fix it. And the way to do that is to get rid of the NDP after 25 years.
Okay, so let's not have a shouting match.
Yeah.
Step in, make your point, please.
Here's something. You know, I tell you, brother, and I see you, especially this below. When she reading, she picking corn. When we look at them in parliament, the government saying one thing and them saying the next thing. So how do you go and improve education when you yourself need to start from the one?
Okay, I see.
All right. Okay,
well,
so step in. You're going to listen off here, okay?
We transforming education for the young people because it needs transformation. Education is not working for everybody. The minister admit that in parliament. 30% pass in maths. Just less than half pass in 5 subjects. Listen, we can't build a powerful St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the 21st century with that kind of stuff. It's a massive failure. It's a failure. They're only focusing on the elite, the very top student, and they tell that part of the story only. They just tell that part of the story. But imagine that the education journey, right, is like walking on a swing bridge over a raging river. You start, at the beginning to end. There's so many gaps along there that students are falling through into that river and getting washed away. But the Europe is only putting the spotlight on the very, very few who make it to the very top and say, hey, look what a great things we did. But hey, what happened to all those who fell through the cracks all along the way and get washed away in the flood? We need to focus on everybody. We need to tell a story about achievement for all, not just the shiny things that with the elites, the very top at the very end. Let's put the spotlight on the entire journey. And you would see that many of our students are falling through the cracks and nobody to hold them.
But do you blame all of this falling through the cracks solely on the government?
Of course, no, who's saying that?
Oh, okay.
I told you we need a partnership.
Right.
We need a partnership between home, school, and community.
Okay, all right.
But I'm telling you, the way the government speaks about the rhetoric on the education revolution, it's erroneous, it's misleading, and it cannot lead to transformation because they're not willing to accept the facts, their own facts.
Okay.
You notice nobody ever came and refuted my stuff because it's in their own document.
Right.
So only the NDP has the passion, the will, the political will to hold education and transform it the way it ought to happen. Education for all.
All right. So I see that we're getting more calls, but we absolutely have to end around this time, right? We're hoping to get you back at another point because there are
free.
other questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get you to all.
Dianna and myself. But just in case, right? Why? And you're going to try to do it in like 2 minutes, please, if you could, right? Why should persons vote for you as opposed to Minister Prince? I take it you both are from Marikwa.
Yeah.
Why should they vote for you over Minister Prince?
Roleza, I'm the only person in the race in Marikwa who wants to be in the race. Prince is a reluctant candidate.
Oh, you get that? Where you get
I am putting
from?
it to you that Jimmy Prince is a reluctant candidate just because they couldn't find a replacement for him. I'm the only person in Marikwa who wants to do this. More than that, I bring a long history of science, technology, innovation, development that Prince doesn't even have to start out with. I'm not bragging, I'm just telling you the facts. To create a 21st century Marikwa and St. Vincent and Grenadines, I am the only one in Marikwa, in the race in Marikwa, who have the training, the experience, the perspectives, the frameworks, the networks, the passion, the head, heart, and hand to build a strong partnership with the people, to transform their lives for better. This is what I'm calling, as your humble servant, to the people of America. Let's build a powerful partnership for a powerful America. And I am the only one who can help you do that in this time, in the 21st century.
Okay. All right. One of the few politicians you've asked us to say something in 2 minutes and you did so successfully. So very good.
I understand assignments when it's given. Very good on delivering that. And the people of America said the assignment is changed. And I'm delivering that for them.
All right.
Thank you so much. You guys are really wonderful. I want to meet you guys outside the studio because we have enough things to talk.
Oh, yeah. I have some stuff to challenge you with. But yeah. All right.
Well, there goes our interview with Mr. Phillip Jackson, the NDP's candidate for Mariaqua as part of our political conversation series. It is now 9:08 and we are going to head into